The San Diego County Board of Supervisors voted 3-2 to move forward with an ordinance that would impose sweeping limits on what rental housing providers can charge for common services such as parking, pets, and trash collection. Supporters of the proposal described these charges as so-called junk fees, while housing providers warned the limits would make it harder to recover legitimate operating costs.
So junk fees are the hidden and unfair charges that make housing less affordable and less transparent for thousands of renters throughout our region.
Housing searches are an immensely challenging and stressful experience, especially for low-income people. When you add surprise junk fees for things like key fobs, trash pickup, or online payment portals, the process is not just confusing, but can be exploitative.
The proposal, called the Residential Rental Price Gouging Fee Exploitation and Cost Transparency Ordinance, was introduced by Supervisors Montgomery Stepp and Aguirre. Supervisor Montgomery Stepp said she wanted to keep the drafting of the ordinance close to the Board of Supervisors.
I just want to make sure there's not an opportunity for loopholes, right? Because unfortunately, sometimes some of more vague language often gets exploited in the process. I really want to keep it, keep it as much close to this body as possible. I think that's important.
While Chairwoman Lawson Reamer supported moving the measure forward, she did express significant concerns about the proposal's details and potential unintended consequences.
This is a big issue for my district because the vast majority of retired individuals in my district are like, their retirement is like one unit. That's how they live. They have one unit or maybe 2 units max, but usually it's like 1 unit in their back of their house. And so they were very worried about this. I'm kind of concerned about this being really prescriptive as opposed to it being like a starting point for a conversation.
Dozens of residents, tenant advocates, and housing providers testified before the vote. Supporters urged the board to address unexpected rental costs, while housing providers cautioned that the measure could make it harder to operate and maintain rental housing.
Before we purchased our condo, my husband and I rented a unit in University Heights. The rental agreement included the use of the unit as well as the use of a garage. After about 3 years, the landlord decided that he could make more money by charging separately for the garage and began to charge us $300 a month.
Representing the California Apartment Association, Melanie Woods testified that the proposal combines several complex policy areas into one overreaching ordinance.
The ordinance before you today is in reality 4 separate and complex policy issues, each with their own operational, legal, and economic implications: screening fees, holding deposits, regulation of fees, and transparency. Combining them oversimplifies the critical distinctions and risks unintended consequences. We ask that stakeholders be a part of these highly technical conversations. The overregulation of fees will actually result in less transparency. This ordinance undermines an owner's ability to recover legitimate operational expenses, and the message is clear: San Diego is now a high-risk place to be a housing provider.
Supervisors Jim Desmond and Joel Anderson voted no, warning that the proposal could drive up rents or discourage small landlords from offering housing.
While I believe this item is well-intentioned, it's too convoluted to me. I think with especially smaller landlords, they're just going to raise the rent and to offset regulations and things that they have to deal with. So I think it's going to have a negative effect.
I'm thinking, who's going to build any future rentals if they can't guarantee a return on their investment? Everyone's going to invest in another state to get their passive income. It won't be local. So we're not going to solve the problem.
The board directed staff to draft an ordinance and return it about 120 days for further review. CAA will continue engaging in the process and advocating for fair, transparent rules that allow housing providers to recover legitimate operating costs. Stay up to date on this issue and other rental housing related news at the California Apartment Association's website, caanet.org.